Yeah, even if you're going to set up your own business, you've got to be creative, haven't you?
Yeah.
Very creative.
Well, you want it to stand out at the end of the day too. Like in a world where the business world is so overly saturated, you want it to stand out as well, don't you? You got to be creative with not only your marketing, but your logo. You want your logo to be captivating, so when people see your logo or whatever, if you see what I mean, it'll be something that that will grab their attention. If you see what I mean, that'll be appealing to the eye. And something that they're going to kind of like potentially remember as well, if you see what I mean. So like,
I mean, it depends what kind of business it is, doesn't it? You know, like if you're going to open a shop, you know, you want it in a good place. You just got to be creative with your thinking. In a funny way, you know. I think, you know.
And I think also part of that is like strategic creativity. Like you're saying, it's like thinking strategic, like planning. You know,
it's like being intelligent with being creative with your own life in a funny way, you know. And like so, I didn't know. I mean, some probably I think you knew at an early age, the kind of stuff that you know where you were. You found yourself. That's what
yeah.
I think I don't know what age you were when you actually found yourself.
I think when I really started to find myself, mate, I think it was a long process.
Question, really, isn't
It
it?
was a long process, mate. It was a long process.
Same here.
I think I really started to find myself probably round about the age of 16. That's when it all really started. Before that, I was already on my journey of like educating myself. Cause like someone had given me a DVD when I was really young, maybe like 13, 14. That had like really sparked my interest about like conspiracies and like the world and like lots of like truth type stuff and all that kind of thing.
Inspired you.
Yeah. So that really set me off on like a tangent of like wanting to know the truth about everything. Makes sense. So I remember being young and it took a couple of years. It started happening when I was about 16. I started really getting heavily into like my research and like trying to figure out who I was as a person at the same time, like where I saw myself in like 10 years and what I wanted to do with my life and etc. Who I wanted to be as a person and what did I want out of life and all the questions that we all ask ourselves, you know, as we get older. You know, what do we want from life? Etc. You know, what makes us happy? You know, what are we passionate about? You know, what drives us every day? When you wake up every day, what makes you, you know, what brings a smile to your face? You know, and that all started when I was about 16. And don't get me wrong, it was a long process because I remember even when I first come back to the UK, I completely like changed my life. If you see what I mean, like I moved from an environment like completely different from one environment to a completely different environment. And my circumstances and my settings and everything was completely different. So my life is completely different. And
that a tropical place to
but not only that, but like a completely different way of life, like just everything. If you see what I mean, culture, weather, people, everything, like customs, like you know, everything. And I remember coming back here, and then like the process continued. If you see what I mean, like. I realised that I no longer had to, I was free from a lot of stuff, if you see what I mean, that I was around or a part of when I was in those kind of like settings, if you see what I mean, growing up in the Caribbean and stuff. Like I was you know, in a lot of settings growing up that, you know, is not so nice, I guess you could, you know, to put it mildly, I guess. And it's a very, 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 very much like a survival mentality and mindset that you've got to be in most of the time, because that's kind of like how life works, and that's, you know, within, you know, in that environment. So I remember coming back here being quite free, actually, being like I can kind of like start my life over. Like I don't know anyone, no one knows me. Like I can become the person that I want to be, if you see what I mean. Like who, you know. And that's when it really started happening. Like, you know, I was still doing like my research and all that kind of stuff too, like educating myself studying all sorts of shit. I had like hundreds of books, and my laptop was full, like had like completely full of like PDF files and all sorts of shit, like CIA declassified documents, you name it, all sorts of shit. Like, I was really on it, if you see what I mean, and I was sharing this information with other people, with my family, and all sorts of shit too, if you see what I mean. Like, but it was a long journey, and I must say it wasn't until probably about maybe 8 years ago or so that I really finally like found myself. Like, I got to the point where I really felt free, if you see what I mean, really felt free, that I completely found myself as a person and who I was and what really made me happy and etc. And just realising what life is really about and etc. Like, I felt really, really free, if you see what I mean. And ever since then I've always felt like that. I've always had the same mentality of,
It's like my life, right? It's been a constant struggle, decade after decade, and it's not gone the way I planned it.
Yeah.
Like I've spoken, many times before. I separated, and it kind of like affected my life, and I was depressed for a number of years.
Yeah.
When you're depressed for any reason, or upset really, or even ungrateful, you can't be creative.
Yeah.
That's that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in the bin in a kind of way, and I spent like years of being depressed of what I lost.
Yeah.
And as I say, this creativity goes in the bin. It's like being lazy in a kind of way, it's like giving up.
Yeah.
In a kind of way. And it's one thing you should do in life is give up,
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like so I've had a real battle, so I went through that separation before. And my mum and dad even divorced. But my mum's happy today, she's met a lovely man who looks after her, and things have turned out, today to be good really, in a kind of way. I feel blessed in life, in a kind of way.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what I got,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that I've got a future to be creative. Like tomorrow I'm going to wake up and try to be even more creative. I know what I know, and I know, like for instance, like I said, I've learned how to do video editing now.
Yeah.
It took me not many hours and many days, but now I've got it in my pocket, and I can get on with other things and learn other things now.
Yeah.
And go further on and start making videos or whatever. Now I know to do it. And slowly in time I'm going to improve. Hopefully, as long as I keep alive.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. You got to just be creative with keeping alive, even. Like I think life is art in a funny way itself. You know. Nature itself is always creating new stuff, isn't it? Like even we're creations.
Yeah.
You're a creation. I'm a creation. You're,
Yeah.
every bird out there.
Even this camera that is here recording us right now.
Yeah.
Is a creation.
That's right.
So it's the logo behind us for our show was an idea, creation that you brought to life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's all creativity.
It is.
It's all art. It's all art.
It is indeed.
And I think the main point to make really is, if you're dedicated to doing something, just keep going. I think that's the main thing I could tell anyone really is, don't be deterred. Sometimes things take years. For some people, they might feel like giving up after year 2, but it might be year 3 that they end up becoming really successful. If you see what I mean, there's a lot of success stories like that. If you're like the type of person, like I've watched loads of documentaries over the years, and lots of documentaries also too about artists and other people as well within the music kind of like sphere and realm as well. I've watched like a lot of like artist documentaries over the years, and a lot of them had that thing in common where they said like I was at that point where I felt like giving up. I felt like calling it a day. Felt like
I think we all do it.
felt like calling it quits. You know what I mean? Invested for so many years, spent money doing this, spent money doing that, spent, you know, no return. But by the third or fourth year, all of a sudden, they stuck with it. If you see what I mean, stay consistent, kept going. You know, against all odds. You know, against their own lack of self-belief, they kept going and ended up becoming successful. If you see what I mean, becoming some of the biggest artists in the world today. If you see what I mean, so yeah.
I mean, even writing,
yeah,
creating, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Writing a song, writing a book,
yeah,
or writing a movie,
story,
writing a story, or I think even when we have conversation,
yeah,
you know, each of us, everyone's got a different sort of knowledge with words.
Well,
and different vocabulary a little bit, and
yeah,
you know, some people know more than others.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still learning my vocabulary. And, you know, I think like what I'm trying to say is when you're having a conversation with people out there,
yeah,
in the real world, I mean, even in an interview, you know, you're kind of being creative with your words, aren't you?
Well,
I was talking.
I was just gonna say you're using your words to kind of paint a picture, aren't you?
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what we do as humans. In order, especially when we're storytelling, we use our words to paint a picture. If you see what I mean.
Yeah. How good are you at writing a story? You know, I mean, I'm pretty good. You know, but I want to get better at it.
Well, I think that's where my songwriting initially came from. If I'm honest with you, because one of my strongest subjects at school, going to school, was always English. That was always one of my subjects that I always excelled in. Even in secondary school, when you had English language and English literature as well, we did two different classes, if you see what I mean. I excelled in both, if you see what I mean. Always excelled in English. And one of my fortes was in English, was writing stories, if you see what I mean. Like full length stories, if you see what I mean. Making up like really good, you know, like fictional stories, but like, you know. So yeah,
I'm a bit opposite to you. Like I said, I was a bit of an artist. I was just drawing, you know, not interested in words and you know, or learning how to read really, you know.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit, really quite behind, I think, at school, you know. Like I say, I've got a computer, and I feel like because I'm creative and an artist, I'm quite an intelligent person, really, you know. But I didn't really know how to read or write, you know. I had to teach myself in a way, you know. And I did with computers. And now I feel like I love writing. I love English. You know? And I've been writing quite a lot actually. You know, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm quite good at English as well now. But I taught myself English.
Yeah.
In a funny way. So I think sometimes it's good to teach yourself in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't taught myself everything, you know. So I didn't really enjoy school at all. I hated it. I had a real attitude about it.
Well, to be honest, I'm very much the same though. Like I've learned more by being self-taught than I ever learned in school. Like I said, even when I left school at an early age, left school at 15, like I didn't get to finish my last year of school, you know, through my own fault, to just be very honest, you know. I was excelling in the subjects that I was good at, but all the ones that I couldn't care about and I didn't think it was I didn't enjoy it, or I didn't think it was going to be necessary for me when I left school. I know I've said it many times before, so I won't expand about it too much, but like I didn't care about them. You know, I was busy doing other shit. You know, shit I shouldn't have been doing. You know, and most of the time I never got caught. But you know, the few times that you do get caught, that's when you do get in trouble. You know what I mean? And it's a big problem because when you're doing illegal shit at school at a young age, like gambling for money, and you know,
That's good fun. It can be.
No, it can be, but the trouble is too sometimes like fights and other things escalate from it as well too at school. You know what I mean? Sometimes people lose, you know what I mean, and lose a lot of money. You know what I mean? Even though we were young, we were playing with decent amount of money. You know.
Gambling bad.
So like certain other things too, like you know, I got in trouble for going to school, like you know, different things. So they didn't allow me to finish my last year, but I must say that I was lucky that school allowed me to take my examinations a year early. So the exams that I would have had to do in my last year, not all of them, I didn't get to do all of them, if you see what I mean, but some of them, they allowed me to do some of them before I finished school. And the ones that I did do, I managed to get them back, if you see what I mean. Managed to pass all of them, you know, so.
So I left school, I ran away from it. I went back 15, I could stand the place.
Well, 15 is when they basically told me that I got, well, they didn't say I got expelled. They put it really politely. They put superannuated. You have been superannuated.
I never heard that word before.
Same. Prior to seeing that on my superannuated. So that was the first time I'd ever encountered that word as well. So you can imagine at 15 years old, even though my vocabulary was already quite vast.
So what's that one then mean? To improve my vocabulary?
Basically expelled.
Okay.
Basically, well, like a polite way of saying you are no longer wanted here. Basically, you are no.
Why don't they just say expelled?
Exactly.
You know, to make it.
But when my mum showed me the report card and then I saw it, I was like, superannuated. What the hell does that mean?
Just have to look it up.
No, she basically explained to me that means, like, you know.
Your mum knows.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and my vocabulary became very vast and very good because of my mum, I must say, as well, actually. And through other things through it as well, through my own self-education and reading and other things as well, if you see what I mean.
I don't know what how you can mark my vocabulary at the moment. You know, I don't know how. I know that I don't know every word. Okay?
Yeah.
But I think like it's really important to understand that you don't need to know everything. Right?
True. Yeah.
That's you know, some people think you've got to know everything, but you haven't. You know, you really haven't. Like I say, I feel like you've got to really carefully choose what you want to learn in life. Or like I say, I'm happy with what I know today. You know, like I say, I don't know everything. I know that I can learn more. Like next year, I know that I'm going to know more than I do now. If you sort of mean, you know, and that's that. You know, I might know a few more words by then. I feel like I just feel like you know, I've got a future to look forward to because I know that I'm quite a creative person. Always have been, you know.
Yeah.
I'm an artist, but I feel like today I'm sort of like I love digital art. I always have done, you know. But my passion is music. You know, putting drums together and putting violins, you know, and making music myself. You know? I've got some pretty good equipment, you know, here, and I need to learn about it, you know, and I know that you know, that's the next step in this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to be focusing my time learning some, you know, like the Roland 707 I've got there, which is a beatbox machine, you know, and it's, you know, some money's worth, you know, and I want to learn how to use it, you know, and I kind of like played with it a few times, you know, and I kind of understand how to operate it, but I know that in 5 years' time I'm going to be a lot better on it, you know. It's going to take me many more hours to understand the machine.
Ah, of course, yeah.
That's for sure, you know, and I just need to be patient and
spend the time.
Just spend a couple of hours on it every day, you know, and you kind of like pick it up, you know, your brain sort of, I don't know, it becomes simple.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if I'm going to do a video, it's very simple to me in a kind of way now.
Yeah.
Well, not very, you know, it's you know, it's not easy, I suppose, you know, but I just feel like it's a lot easier than it used to be.
Yeah.
That's all. You know, and like I say, I don't like giving up. You know, I don't like getting depressed.
Yeah.
I don't like being ungrateful. I don't like being negative. I don't like shouting.
Yeah.
You know, I throw them all out the window, you see. I want to be creative. I want to be positive. I want to move forward. I want to enjoy life. I want to be happy. I don't want to be grumpy. I don't want to kick up about it. Do you know what I mean? I think we should appreciate it all, and you know, and clap hands about what we really got here. You know, we've got hands, we've got eyes, we've got ears. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
And you know, we can
be grateful for what we do have.
You know, if the sun didn't come up tomorrow, nobody'd be in pain. If you sort of mean. Or all the makeup that people put on their place, nobody would see it. If you see what I mean. So the sun gives us all our creativity as well, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, the sun probably created this earth somehow, you know, or helped.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean.
Yeah. But it did.
No, it did, didn't it? Yeah, you know, it's certainly a big part of it, isn't it?
Well, the sun and the moon.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. But I mean, even the earth itself, it's a creation itself, isn't it?
Oh yeah, of course.
A very beautiful creation, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get it puzzles me how beautiful it is.
Mother Nature in itself is art, isn't it?
It is. It's you know beautiful. You know, every fish, every fly, every living thing, really. You know, it's quite incredible.
Yeah.
But I think we're very lucky, actually. You know, we're humans. We're not flies. We're not frogs. We're not birds. You know, we got hands. You know, birds can't draw with their wings, can they? You know I mean, they can fly, but they're not lucky enough to sort of paint a picture or sing a song in a microphone.
Yeah.
And so on.
Yeah.
I mean, like the radio, if that wasn't invented, a lot of people, like for instance Michael Jackson or David Bowie, we would have heard them. If you're with me, if somebody didn't create the aerial and work on that aerial, you know, sort of on the radio, you know, this world would be completely different today when you think about it. Absolutely different. You know, we wouldn't have heard one song on the radio. Yeah. If you see what I mean. Yeah. Or listen to any music on the TV, because that's radio as well. By the way, TV's radio. Radio, yeah. You know. So, you know, like radio, somebody created that idea, which must take some time, you know, to work on, you know, this communication radio activity, whatever, you know, anonymous stuff really, when you ask me. And, you know, somebody's come up with this invention, and bang, everybody's, you know, quite a lot of people have got famous out of it, really, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? And today everyone's singing their songs in a kind of way, you know, like I say, it's changed this world into a different dimension, if you ask me. You know, we're all singing, or we're all artists, or we're all listening to tunes today, you know, from the radio, or we can remember tunes all once in our head when we go to sleep, even, you know. Where when you think if that guy didn't invent the radio, you know, nothing would have happened, you know, we wouldn't know what we know today, if you see what I mean. I don't think the internet would have, you know, because the internet's radio waves as well, I think, you know. So, you know, what a creation, eh? We've come a long way. Well, what a creation.
If you think about it today, pretty much almost everything is digital today anyway. We evolved from having tapes, if you see what I mean, cassette tapes, to CDs, to flash drives, you know, and now everything is digital. Everything's online, if you see what I mean.
Some things are analog.
Well, some stuff is, but very little stuff today. Like you can still like some artists still do sell CDs. Some artists still sell like vinyl. You know, the old record vinyls. You know, but most.
Some people still buy them.
But if you think about it, though, most stuff today, like films, series, music, whatever it is you name it today, it's all online. It's all digital. You know. So we've come a long way, like the evolution of all these things has come a very long way, like through creativity. That's what all it is just man, like mankind, pushing the boundaries essentially. Thinking how can we take what we've got now, what exists now, it's good already, but how can we take it and make it even better?
I don't think they can improve it too much.
No, but I mean not anymore, probably not any much more now. But I mean during those periods, if you see what I mean, they went from having a cassette tape to then saying, oh, we've now got CDs, if you see what I mean. And then at one point, everything was CDs. Everyone wanted to have loads of burnt CDs that they can put in their car radio in the car, or they can watch in their DVD player, if you see what I mean. So yeah, if you see what I mean. And now today, pretty much everything is digital. Most people today won't even buy a DVD player or a video player or a CD player or any of these things, if you see what I mean, because they got everything, you know.
I mean, all those DVDs and movies and everything, right? It costs a fortune, didn't it?
Oh, yeah,
They were
yeah.
sort of in the big shop there, you know, when they first come out, and people were spending loads of money on them, weren't they?
Yeah, true.
Sort of, you know, every Friday people would finish work and buy some DVDs and things and add it to their collection.
Yeah.
And now it's completely gone on the internet, you know, and everyone's throwing them away now, aren't they? You know, and don't want them, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I go around charity shops sometimes, you know, and I see the DVDs there, you know, and nobody wants them.
That's what I mean. Sometimes people are selling them £5 for £1, and
yeah, you know, nobody wants them anymore. You know, it's like they're all, you know, it's another generation that's gone.
Yeah.
And
yeah. It's just the evolution.
It's faded out. It's going to fade out, isn't it? You
Well,
know, like in 50 years' time, we're going to look back and think, oh, the DVD, we're going to laugh at it.
Yeah, exactly.
We are now actually starting to laugh at it all.
Because creativity has evolved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the music world, it's really, you know, if you are an artist, and a good one at that, wow, if you're good, you're going to get somewhere. If you're good. If you are really different, you know, and unique, and all that, and creative, and you never give up, you're positive, you might get somewhere, you know. But like I say, there's a lot of people that don't believe in themselves, they're negative, they think the worst, you know, that they hate it when it rains, and they think, oh, the life's end, you know, whatever, you know, and they just don't get anywhere, or they're lazy, and, you know, you've got to believe in yourself, you know. Like so, I've had a lot of trouble in my life, you know, and I think, like, even when I met met the girl that I was going to marry, and I was with her 13 years, I had a family with her, and I was trying to be as creative as possible with her, and have a lovely life with her, but we ended up breaking up, you know. It's sort of like, it's like a explosion in a kind of way, you know. It destroys everything, every creation that you've ever created in a funny way, you know. And you've got to start again. And, you know, anyway, like, what I'm trying to say is, when I was married, I could have been doing what I dreamed of, music. That's what I dreamed of. In the kind of way it got in my way, getting married, having children, you know, giving up all my time for that. You know, but I can't regret it, you know. I love my children, you know, and I'm glad that I did it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad really that it didn't last any longer, you know, that she didn't keep me going for another 2 years and use me for another 2 years and take my energy for another 2 years.
Yeah.
Take my time. Because now that she did decide to divorce me, whatever, and I wasn't good enough or whatever, and now, you know, it's been really hard because I didn't want to lose her, you know, beautiful women and whatever, and I didn't want to lose my children, they didn't want to lose me.
Yeah.
But that happened.
Yeah.
And it, you know, almost killed me in a kind of way, you know, because I lost my home and everything, you know, I was homeless. But I've soldiered on, you know, and I just carry on. I'm glad that I didn't give up.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you see what I mean. I nearly did, I must admit, you know, a number of times, you know, because it's so mentally difficult, all of it, you know, and life can be tough sometimes, you know, and life doesn't go your way sometimes, you know, and it hasn't done for me for a long, long time, you know. Even being married with a girl that can't hear you for 13 years was tough in its way, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, but now I'm free of that, you know, and I've been